Joining us now to tell us how your vote can actually make the difference here financially is Craig Bolanos of Wealth Management Group. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah.
And he literally just came from voting. So you got your
my
little sticker there. We're very proud of you,
Civic
Craig.
duty.
That's right.
Check the box.
I'm glad you were able to do that before you came to visit us. Okay, let's talk about voting, the midterm elections, and the economy. Explain how the midterms can affect our economy overall and volatility.
Well, I think, let's talk. This midterm, everybody always says this midterm is the most important in our life. But this time around,
it really is.
because no one trusts the polling, and ever since Brexit, ever since the 2016 presidential election, if you ask Wall Street what's really going to happen, we don't know. And that sets up a big shock if two scenarios that aren't baked into the markets occur. And I think it's going to have a ripple through, not just for investors, but the economy at large.
Okay, so how is this going to affect the average American individual before we get into those scenarios?
Right. Well, I think at the end of the day, everything in finance is interconnected. So whether you're saving for retirement, whether you're saving for your children's education, or even if you work for a government agency, et cetera, you've got funding at stake, policy shifts that are going to happen depending on which way this vote breaks tonight.
Okay, so let's look at the possible outcomes. Let's talk about scenario number one. If Republicans win and keep both houses of Congress, what do you expect will happen?
I think if Republicans win, number one, you instantly get Tax Reform 2.0. With Tax Reform 2.0, it's like another shot of stimulus into the economy. I think this market goes further and higher. We see new highs come through. Everybody gets a little bit more of an increase in their wage, and we take away one big risk, which is having to raise the deficit ceiling next fall. It's not going to be controversial. So I think investors should get further invested if there's a Republican victory, more of the same right now.
Okay, so let's say the Democrats win both the Senate and the House, then what?
Yeah, again, just like a Republican sweep, having the Democratic Party run the tables isn't priced into the market. But all of a sudden that happens, you have to acknowledge something, which is impeachment actually goes on the table, and investors are going to remember history. It's the only guide we have. They know how the markets reacted with the threat of impeachment for both Nixon and for President Clinton.
Okay, interesting. I hadn't thought about that. So what if Democrats pick up the House but not the Senate, which is what could be likely here?
That's the base case. That's what everybody expects to happen. And last time I checked, for investors, gridlock isn't a bad thing. You know, in fact, I think gridlock gives people some hope that there isn't going to be a lot of change. We already know what the policies are. Not a lot is going to be updated. And in fact, in the last 18 midterms, the stock market's been higher 18 of 18 times in the next 12 months.
So interesting for you to break it down this way. Where can people go to learn more about you and your wealth management?
Well, go on out to our website. That's investwithwmg.com, investwithwmg.com. We've got some great applications up there to help you get invested and accomplish your goals.
Did you say that was investwithwmg.com? I'm just kidding.
Yes, I did.
I'm glad you voted. Great to have you.